Vectors and scalars, lesson 6. Under this, we are going to continue the vector sum. The examples in physics of vector sum we are discussing. In that, we were talking about resultant motion. But before that, as I told you, I'll ask you a general question. Very interesting questions I keep asking every day from now onwards. Just 5 to 10 minutes, we'll talk about that. My main idea in doing so is to tell you that physics is not mere talking, but that should be put in mathematical terms finally. And it also tells you what it means to say the concepts in physics are. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Remember, after this, we'll go back to our vectors. My question is this, children. Why does moon not fall? This is my question. Why does moon not fall? You may say, sir, why at all moon should fall? Isn't it? Look, when you drop an apple from a certain height, it falls to the ground. Isn't it so? And you say, why is it falling? You'll give the reasoning as what? Tell me.
Gravity.
Gravity. You will say
Gravity, sir.
gravitational force
Gravity.
will make it fall to the ground, you say. But listen, if this is moon, sorry, if this is earth, for example, and if this is moon, supposedly going around the moon, around the earth in a circular orbit, let me put approximately. Say if I have moon here, even on moon there's a gravitational force acting due to earth, isn't it? If the same gravitational force is pulling the apple down, why not it is pulling the moon towards it? And why not moon is going and kissing the earth? Tell me now.
Sir,
So the question is justified, children.
Sir, the moon has some momentum, sir.
Moon has some momentum. Who is this?
Amar.
Amarnath, right? So moon has some momentum. Not a bad idea. Or you mean to say moon has a velocity, right? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Moon has a velocity. Amar, in what direction is that velocity? Good. Actually, Amarnath could give a reasonably right answer. But let me say, instead of saying momentum, I'll say there's a velocity like this, tangential to the path. Anytime, remember, children, when a particle is moving in a path, the velocity at that instant is along the tangent. That will come back later to explain in kinematics, but it's not so difficult. If a particle is going in a zigzag path also, at every point, the velocity is along the tangent, the instantaneous velocity at that instant. All right, Amar. He says moon has some velocity like that. That's why it doesn't fall. Very good answer, actually. Anybody else has some other answer? Quick.
The moon
Because of Earth mass.
Who is this? Dakshil. So this answer is very what you say, it entices you people to accept that answer. What is that? He says apple has less mass. That's what you're trying to tell?
No, sir. I didn't say that. I was saying that the moon's velocity is so fast that it escapes Earth's gravity a bit.
Tell me again.
Moon's speed is faster. Like, we need a certain speed to escape Earth's gravity and go into space. So in that way, if we see, the moon's speed is a bit quick, and that's why it is staying in an orbit rather than falling to Earth.
Okay, what he's trying to the same thing, like what Amarnath told, you are also telling the same thing, no? But some Earth's mass is big, something like that you told.
Mokshikya, sir.
Somebody else. So Moshagnya, what did you say? Apple has a mass which is somewhat very less compared to the mass of the moon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is an answer which looks all right. Yeah, many people give that answer. Apple has less mass and moon has greater mass. So that's why Apple is falling, moon is not falling. No. Remember, whatever the mass, the forces Apple and Earth apply on each other are same as the force the moon and Earth apply on each other. Their action and reaction forces, children. So, any other answer?
Sir, the distance between the Earth and Moon is more, so the gravitational pull is not that strong, maybe.
No. Anybody else? One more answer people keep telling is this. Apart from this, Apple has less mass and moon has greater mass. People tell there's a centrifugal force holding it. For a particle going in a circular path, there's a centrifugal force holding it. That's why it doesn't fall, people say. What is this? Centrifugal force doesn't allow it to fall, people say. Allow it to fall, but makes it move in a circular path. In a circular path. And they say this, or they'll say centripetal force and centrifugal force are balancing. That's why it's going in a circular path, people say. Did you hear this also somewhere? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So Amar, is that correct? Is that what you're trying to tell, that velocity is there? So there is some force acting away like this, which is balancing the force acting like this?
Yes, sir.
Both the answers are so attractive because it makes some kind of what you call reasoning. Less mass, so it will fall. Greater mass, it won't fall. Or centrifugal force is holding it away, that's why it doesn't fall. Both the answers are going to be wrong. I'll explain it. But as I told you, I'll convert that into mathematics. Look at this. Amanath actually gave almost the right answer, but if you mix up with this, that will be wrong. Okay, I'll go to the next page and explain it to you fast. Once again, think this is Earth and moon was going around like that. Okay, let me draw a little better figure. Meanwhile, if you have any answer, please tell me. You can give a more.
Sir, the force between Earth and Moon is so less that like it's not enough to pull Moon, I guess. Gravitational force.
Not proper.
Sir,
Yes.
Sir, as you said, centripetal force will act towards inside, na sir, and tangent, that force will act towards outside, na sir, maybe because of that.
So you go with that statement, centripetal force and centrifugal force are balancing. Huh?
Centripetal and tangent, as you said in the last slide.
And there's no tangential force, Suhita. There's only velocity. If at all centrifugal force is going to be there, it will be away like that. And there is a centripetal force, people say. That's why it is staying in the orbit, people say.
Sir, even the Earth moves.
Enoch, tell me.
Sir, even the Earth also.
Huh?
How can you hear?
Enoch, I'm not able to hear.
Sir, even the Earth also moves.
Your voice is not clear, so I think your mic. Okay, listen to me. Say at some point, moon is here, we'll think. And I told you, there's a velocity for the moon, like Amarnath was pointing. That velocity is along the tangent. And there's a force towards center. How much is that force, you know? Newton's law of gravitation gives it. If the mass of Earth is m
by r square.
Yeah, if the mass of moon is m, yes. How much is that, Gurucharan? G
mm by r square.
R square. R is the distance from center to that. Or you can write, if you want, capital R if you want. The total distance from center to this is R. So moon has a velocity, but this force, gravitational force, is the reason for changing the direction of this velocity, basically. Remember it. Or I'll ask another question. Supposing this force suddenly disappeared, Gurucharan, what would have happened to moon? Amarnath?
Sir, moon would have gone out of its orbit, sir.
Moon would have gone like that, isn't it? Huh? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Moon would have gone like that. Right? In a time t, how much distance moon would have covered in that direction? Vt. That means moon could have been here. Do you all agree that? I'll just put a little closer.
Yeah.
This velocity should be tangential, means really tangential, like this. So in the absence of gravity, moon would have gone some distance like that. The distance in a time t will be Vt, isn't it so? Hello. So
Yes.
you would have found the moon here. But because of this force acted upon by the Earth on it, moon would fall into the orbit like this. Once again, here also, the moon has a tendency to go along the tangent, but because of this force acting, it is turning. Supposing here gravity disappeared, it would have gone somewhere here. But gravity made it fall into the orbit again. This is what is happening. Very simple. You take one stone and tie it to a rope and turn it. Somebody comes and cuts that rope in the middle, or you leave it. It would go along the tangent or not? Huh? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, thinking that this gravity disappeared is something like cutting this rope in the middle. So moon would have gone there, but because force is there, it is falling. So in a way, it is falling. In a way, it is falling. Though it's not coming and touching the Earth, gravitational force is making it fall into the orbit. That matter, in the universe, everything is falling to everything. That's why in our Indian system, the universe or the world is called Jagat. Sanskrit word. Jagat means it keeps moving. You know, everything is falling towards everything. The whole universe is held by what you call gravity. There were velocities produced probably during Big Bang, when everything exploded like that. A lot of velocity was given to the subatomic particles. They condensed into planets or whatever. But that velocity is there. So moon had a velocity like this, but gravitational force of Earth is making it fall into the orbit. Do you agree now? Hello.
Yes,
Tell me
sir.
quickly. No, my main point was to
Yes.
tell you that we require to talk in mathematical terms. Try to understand it. This is what Newton did. It's not mine. Try to understand. Newton was the first one to really talk like this. I'm making it look simple for you. He did a lot of maths. So now tell me, let us calculate how much it was falling. Call it y. This total distance r, you say. till here. So this angle is 90. Okay. So from the Pythagoras theorem, what will I get? I'll try to finish it fast. I'll bring this back again when I discuss circular motion and the centripetal, centrifugal, all those things. Remember, I have not used the word called centrifugal at all here. I told GMM by R square is a force acting towards center. Because there's a velocity, it doesn't come to the center, but continues to go like that. But so continues, it wanted to continue like that, but because of this gravity, it is falling back every time into the orbit. This is the force called centripetal force, children. GMM by R square provides required centripetal force. Centripetal force is just a name, force acting towards center. The force acting towards center is GMM by R square, that's all. Because of which the moon, which would have gone along a straight line in the absence of gravity, is falling into the orbit. So supposing, why apple falls, apple has no velocity. Apple is at rest, so it will simply come like this. So this is a basic principle of a satellite, children. The basic principle of a satellite. You stand at some height and throw a body with a particular velocity called orbital velocity, it will go in a circular path. If I throw with a less velocity, it will fall like that. If I throw with zero velocity, it will fall like this. You understand the point? So velocity and force are two important things to decide the motion, how the motion happens. Can we know not by just force alone, not by velocity alone, but both of them put together, we'll understand it. Now I'll just use a little geometry, at school level. Yes.
Sir, if we exceed the orbital velocity, we will go out of orbit, sir.
It will, if it is exceeding orbital velocity, it will go in elliptical orbit. And if it exceeds even that, then it will go escaping in a parabolic orbit. Rakshit.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Now look at this. From the Pythagoras theorem, I can write, if you know, r plus y whole square. Where is it, r plus y. And this is r square equals v square t square. Is it okay? Children?
No, sir. R square should be the RHS.
This is not
R
correct.
square should be on RHS.
Yes. Isn't it so? So this is the diagonal. So I should write r plus y whole square equals, tell me, r square plus
v square t square.
Correct. Expand this. R square plus y square plus 2ry is equal to r square plus v square t square. Okay. R square goes. And remember, though I told time t and so much distance I showed, this t is infinitesimally small. Small time. So where is moon here? Somewhere very close here, children. Very close. This is what actually Newton's contribution. He talked about infinitesimals and that developed into calculus later, derivatives and integrals. So when t is infinitesimally small, isn't y very small? Hello?
Yes.
So if y is small, y square is even smaller. So this y square is made 0. So what do we get now? 2ry is equal to v square t square. So y equals half v square by r t square. This is like half a t square, children. See, there's no velocity in this direction. Velocity is all in this direction. So initial velocity in this direction is u equals 0 only. Okay. So from a c equals ut plus half at square, I'll get this y equals half at square, where a looks to be what? V square by r, which is called in the popular language centripetal acceleration, the acceleration towards center. So what is this acceleration towards center? It is acceleration with which it would be falling into the orbit because the presence of gravity. Otherwise, it would be going away like that. So every time, every small time, it is falling back into the orbit because of this acceleration. Do you follow? So that's how you'll say that yes, velocity is there, but this force produces an acceleration called v square by r, due to which instead of going away from the orbit in every small time interval, it keeps falling back into the orbit with an acceleration v square by r. That's the explanation of saying why moon is not falling. Do you follow? If you followed, I'll go
Yes,
back
sir.
to yes. Why the other two are wrong, I'll come back later. For the present, this much is enough. Yes, Vignesh.
Sir, so if we compare this to our topic of vectors, there is a force of the moon and there is a perpendicular force of the earth. So I think because the resultant force, the moon is staying in its orbit. Is that correct, sir?
No. There's only a single force.
Okay.
There's only a single force which is making the body go in a circular path. If you want to check this one, tomorrow do one small experiment. You go to a garden, along with you take some rope, tie it to your belly, and the other end you tie it to the trunk of the tree. Just somewhat pull it hard so that the string is taut, and then start running. What will happen to you? Tell me.
So at a certain distance, you will stop, sir. Because
You'll run which way? Not away from the tree. Perpendicular to the rope, you start running.
You'll form a circular path, sir.
Yes. Who is making you go in a circular path? You know, the tension, the force developed in the rope.
Okay, sir.
So if I cut it, what will happen? You'll go straight.
Yes, sir.
So there's only a single force, no two force. Of course, there's a friction between the feet and the ground, which I'm ignoring for a while, which is small compared to the force in the string right now.
Same.
In fact, on a smooth surface also you can run in a circular path, provided you maintain a tightness in the rope and start running tangent to the path. I mean, perpendicular to this rope. Then you actually go in a circular path. So this is gravitational forces like that.
Okay, sir.
You understand my point? You are
Yes.
this moon is you. This is the tree to which you tied yourself with a rope. Think of no friction between your feet and the ground. But start running like this. You don't go that way. You will go in a circular path.
Circular path. Yes, sir.
Now I cut the rope. You'll just go along the tangent.
Yes, sir.
So in a way you're falling, I told you, because of this force here, GMM by R square. There, in the case of a rope, the tension, you call it. You are every time falling into the orbit through a small distance y, and that y has this acceleration. What is that? V square by R. Amarnath, tell me. And all this, where are we watching from, Vignesh? Probably you can say you're watching from the earth, but ignore the rotation of the earth and its revolution around the sun. You think when you're standing on the earth and watching, you'll think that earth is at rest. Then it's okay.
Yes, sir.
Or you may think you have one axis put through the center, which is not moving at all, and you're standing there and watching, you can think. Or you can think distant stars, fixed stars, you can think and stand watching from there, you think. So, you know that if earth were not attracting it, moon would have gone like that. Because of the attraction, it's falling every time into the orbit with an acceleration v square by r. So what Amarnath told in the beginning is right. Moon had a velocity, but how the velocity is being changed? By the gravitational force producing an acceleration every time towards the center. Acceleration towards the center does not mean the body should come to the center. Try to understand. It will fall into the orbit. So in one sense, it is falling, but not falling and touching the earth. But why the apple is falling? Apple has no velocity. Supposing if I stand here and throw the apple like this, even at a small height from the earth, if there was no air and no buildings, if I throw it with, say, for example, around 8 kilometers per second, even the apple would become a satellite. 8 kilometers per second is very big velocity. Try to understand. Do you follow? Why apple? Just
Yes,
this
sir.
pen you throw like that, you can make it a satellite. Of course, our problems are there here. If I throw this one, it would go and hit the wall. Wall is not there. It's all the path is free for the pen, and no air. Air will reduce the speed. So if I somehow give it a velocity called 8 kilometers per second, it doesn't touch the ground. It just keeps going around the ground. All right. So just remember this. Why did I do? It's not just mere talk in physics. Everything will be put in mathematical terms. So the centrifugal force comes for a different reason that I did not discuss, and the masses do not affect the force one applies on the other. That elaboration I'll do sometime later, but this is all for today. Okay, I'll go to our lesson. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Keep
Yes,
thinking
sir.
about it. You can keep bringing doubts later, but remember, this is a part of your syllabus, which I just did it today. It will come again when you go to circular motion. All right. And this is not my derivation. It is Newton's derivation. Okay. All right. Go back to our lesson. What is it? Yes. Resultant motion. Right. Now, I'll make it a general approach. I have a velocity like this. This velocity is, for example, velocity of the moving frame with respect to ground frame. By this time, I think people understood what it means. Though I'm generalizing it here, in my mind, I have an example. What is that, for example? Hello, children, can you speak? This is, for example, in a particular case, velocity of what?
River.
Velocity of river.
Sir.
Or velocity of water here, if you want to say. But who is saying that water has this velocity?
Sir, a person
Person
standing on the shore, sir.
On the shore is saying this. Yes. So that is velocity of moving frame with respect to ground frame. Now we have a V relative, children. This is V relative. What is V relative, children, in general? We may call it velocity of the body relative to the
Ground.
moving frame. Now construct one parallelogram or even triangle, doesn't matter. If you want to construct triangle, how will you construct? Hello.
Parallel shift.
Yeah, this is velocity of the moving frame with respect to ground frame, and I'll show my V relative there. Here, isn't it so?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
So now what is the resultant velocity or the velocity from ground frame? In the law of Pythagorean vectors, it comes from the middle, isn't it?
It will be the diagonal.
Diagonal, right. So this is my velocity of the body in the ground frame, or you may call it V resultant because this is the word people use. Okay. Or in the case of the river problem, this becomes velocity of the swimmer. Tell me, velocity of the swimmer with respect to shore. Where here, if this is this one, if this is V relative, this is the velocity of the swimmer with respect to the shore, this one. Okay, this is what? Velocity relative. Or here in this one, the same diagonal, nothing changes. So if the angle between these two is alpha, that alpha will be shown here. Our cosine rules tells you that velocity of the body in the ground frame square is equal to what? Velocity of the moving frame in the ground frame square plus velocity relative square plus, tell me, 2 moving frame with respect to ground frame v relative cos alpha under root. Do you agree now? You want to put theta here? Okay, put theta, because don't confuse with the old alpha there. This is theta, so you can put theta here. I'm using vector addition. Are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
No, this square should not be there, isn't it? I already put a root here.
Yeah, sir.
Now all the special cases we learned can be brought back here. If theta equals 0, case 1. If theta equals 0, what will I get? Velocity of the body in the ground frame will be, tell me children, mod of this is simply this sum, mod of this plus mod of this. This becomes cos 0, 1 whole square, all that we did, mod A plus mod B, right? So simply velocity of the moving frame with respect to ground frame plus velocity relative without any vector signs or mod signs you have. And if theta equals 180 degrees, what will happen? Velocity of the body in the ground frame will be, if he's going upwards, for example, because their opposite means this is the velocity of water, this is the velocity of the body with respect to the water, v relative. If this fellow has to move up, this should be greater than this. If it's moving down, this will be greater than this. We don't know. So I may say v relative is greater than this. I can write here v relative minus velocity of the moving frame with respect to ground frame. And if theta equals 90 degrees, velocity of the body in the ground frame will be what? Root of velocity of the moving frame in the ground frame square plus velocity relative square. So now we have enough formulas in your language to apply to many problems. Come on, complete writing. I'll come back to the same thing with examples. Okay. Children, I'm waiting. But you are free to ask a question. First of all, remember that this is like modeling. There are so many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number of examples. I'll tell you number of situations. A person swimming in a river is one situation. An aeroplane moving in wind is another situation. A person running on a moving bus is another situation. Do you follow my point? And in each situation, there are so many cases. The swimmer here swims along the water, opposite to water, somewhat angle, making angle with water. So for all different situations, different physical situations, and in each situation for many cases, the same formula. That's what you call as modeling, a mathematical modeling, this one. What is actually happening there? What is actually happening there? We are modeling. Do you follow? Do you understand what I told you? The same formula for many situations, many physical situations, individual physical situations, and in each physical situation, many cases. That means this formula will become the basic or the concept for some 50 types of problems, 50 problems. What is that idea? There are two vectors. The sum is a resultant vector, but these two vectors represent something physical there. This middle vector represents something physical there, that kind of modeling need to be done. Once that is understood, your job is done. So have you written down this, everybody?
No, sir. One.
Please complete it. Now, how it applies for river problems we'll discuss today. So in doing so, what I was trying to tell you was vector addition has a specific purpose in physics. Not that some two vectors are there in front of you, you just simply add them for the sake of your mathematical pleasure. You cannot add all kinds of vectors. There are situations where vector addition is valid. In other situations, vector addition is not valid. So you need to really understand that, yes, though vector addition is there for me, though I'll use law of parallelogram vectors or law of triangular vectors or a cosine rule, I can do it only in few situations, not in every possible situation. So, of course, at our 11th and 12th level, there are only few cases like this. But to generalize an idea, to generalize many physical examples into a single idea is actually the what you call the challenge of that particular culture. Children.
Yes, sir.
So shall we apply it for an example? Direct river problem.
Yes, sir.
Any question before I continue?
No, sir.
Sure, you followed it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I'll go to I'll put a heading called river problem because that's how people like it. I don't want to put some heading like this, but that's what students and teacher like so much. A river problem, aeroplane problem, some sphere problem. In physics, actually, there's nothing like it. All come into one basic idea. Now, first case is motion downstream. We have a river, and the river is moving. The waters are moving. So that velocity of waters, I'll call it VW. That VW is in this kind of a direction. This is my VW, the vector. Now a person has a velocity in the same direction. Person or a boat you can put. You may think why a person should swim along the river or opposite to the river. You may put a boat if you want. Do you follow? There's a boat here. So this has got what I mean by V relative like this. Who feels V relative, children? Anybody can tell me? Yesterday I talked about it. Who feels this V relative?
Person who is on the raft.
Yes, you put a raft here. Why am I saying raft? Raft will be floating down along with the water, isn't it? With the water velocity. So a person standing here says the boat is going with V relative. Now, you will stand here and watch the boat. So velocity of boat with respect to shore will be what? Vector sum of V water and V relative, right? But in this case, theta equals what?
Yes, sir.
0. Therefore, V of boat with respect to shore will be simply V water plus V relative in magnitude. So if I don't put arrow and neither mod, if I have to show mod, I put arrow and put a mod. Otherwise, just leave both of them, it is still mod. So this is VW plus V relative. So if you have to calculate time between 2 points A and B in the river, this fellow calculates it. A distance D, some A and B here, if I put 2 points, the distance AB divided by V water plus V relative is the time. This is what you mean by motion downstream. For example, say V water's magnitude is 2 km/h and person's V relative is, for example, 4 km/h. So for a person standing on the ground, the net velocity, resultant velocity, many things you can call out, velocity of the body or boat from shore will be 4 plus 2, 6 km/h. And if he's covering a distance of 12 kilometers, for example, if AB equals 12 kilometers, so time between A and B will be how much? 12 kilometer divided by 6 kilometer per hour. So that will be 2 hours. Do you follow this? This is what you mean by motion downstream. Children. This is what you mean by motion downstream. Can I continue or you have any question? Are you okay with the terminology, children? The word V relative, do you understand the meaning of it?
Yes, sir.
That is velocity of the boat. The one we are studying, to one we are applying laws of physics. This is the boat. As watched by a person in the reference frame fixed to water. For this fellow, waters do not move. Do you follow this? Therefore, he says he's going with, for example, 4. And this fellow says he goes with 6 because he knows that velocity of what is added to it. Right? So write it. I'll continue after this. Any questions, children, here? Enoch?
No, sir. What?
We are doing it under the vector addition. I've told you cases theta equals 0 mod A plus mod B, theta equals 180 mod A minus mod B, theta equals 90 mod A square plus mod B square under root. So that is a very generalization here. I'm applying that to a physics problem here, physics situation here. Okay. Now
Yes.
I'll continue. I'll continue, children. Please finish it off. Hello. So I want you to write everything here. You can't just keep watching it. And Amarnath?
Sir.
Have you followed this?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Damodar?
Sir.
Tell me, did you follow this?
Yes, sir.
Ramakrishna?
Sir.
Have you followed this?
Yes, sir.
Ramakrishna?
Yes, sir.
But then it appears you're saying you're not writing. I've got information that you're not writing.
Yes, sir.
Why are you not writing?
Yes, today also writing, sir.
You're writing.
Also. Yes, sir.
Started writing. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I told you, you can talk to me personally if there is an issue. But
okay, sir.
And look, this is all what is required. You can't say that you're not following. Huh?
Yes.
You need to try to follow, right?
Okay, sir.
And write everything. If you don't have notes, what is that you're going to do later?
Okay.
Manasa?
Yes, sir. Understood.
So there is almost a very simple looking way. Come on, water is going this way, person is going this way. So his actual velocity, sum of these two, that kind of a talk is not good actually. That makes you lazy actually. You'll not think about it properly. Okay. Now I'll go to the next slide and talk about motion upstream. Motion, what did I say here? A motion downstream only. Now motion upstream. What do you mean by motion upstream, children? Huh?
The flow of river is opposite.
You need to go against water and land up at a stage upstream. Okay. Now we can put water again. So water velocity is down as usual, but somebody wants to go against it. So that we call as what velocity? Tell me. What is the name we are given to that? Hello. What is this velocity's name?
Upstream.
Huh?
V relatives.
V relative. But sometimes this V relative is also called velocity in still waters. Because for a person watching from water, the waters appears to be still only. So that's why people also use the word velocity in still waters. Okay. Now there's a boat or a person, anything you can put, he's going like this. So for a person watching from here, the velocity of boat will be what? Velocity of boat, I should not say velocity of boat with respect to shore will be what? If I am landing up upwards, I'll write V relative minus VW. Am I correct? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I cannot write VW minus V relative. If I do that, it will be going downstream only. Huh? Right. And time between A and B, for example, or B and A, the same A and B if I take, what will be that? AB divided by V relative minus V water. Take the old example of that. AB was how much? 12 kilometers. And V relative was how much? 4 minus 2. How much is it then? 6 hours. Tell me whether you followed motion upstream. If you followed, I'll
Yes,
go
sir.
to another example about the river only. Children.
Sir, is it 6 kilometers per hour or 6 hours?
This is 4 minus 2 kilometer per hour, right? So 6 hours that is. Time this is. Time between B and A. Distance by speed, net speed, relative resultant speed, this one. Why don't you go to the old question? I thought you followed this, so I just took it, cut down on the steps.
Here it is kilometer per hour.
Where did I write kilometer per hour? 6 kilometer per hour, 12 kilometers. The answer is 2 hours time. Here, 4 minus 2, 2 kilometer per hour. 12 by 12, 2 kilometer per hour will be 6 hours, right? Hello?
Yes, sir, got
This
it.
is the denominator is speed. This is distance. And this result is time. Hello?
Sir, got it, sir. I wrote the previous one as 2 kilometers per hour.
Where? I did not get. Where did you write 2 kilometers? This is speed. The net speed is 6 kilometers per hour. This is. Distance is 12 kilometers. So per hour goes up, kilometer cancels, 2 hours. Right?
Yes, sir.
And this is motion upstream. Motion upstream, he is taking more time, right? Motion downstream is taking less time to cover a distance of 12 kilometers. Tell me now. Come on. Hurry up. But any questions you've got? No questions. Good. Okay. Now 3. Motion across the stream. Or across the river. Now, waters are moving. The velocities, V water as usual. Now I have to go from one bank here to the other bank there. To other bank, I can go to many places. I can go to exactly opposite point. I can go somewhere, all that can be done. So in general, how do I put my velocity diagram here, children? In general, I should put like this. This is velocity of water. I should put this as velocity relative. So the net velocity will be like this. Do you follow my point? That means a boat or a swimmer, this is water, a swimmer with respect to water will be moving like this. But with respect to me from the ground, he'll be moving like that. So he'll start here and reach there. But where does he reach depends upon how much velocity and in what direction he produces in the water. So one special case of interest is here to cross the river in shortest path. To cross the river along shortest path. Do you follow the meaning of shortest path? The persons should start here and reach there. That means the resultant velocity should be like this.
Angle should be more than 90 degrees with the
He should end up like this. When I watch from here, his path must be A to B. For that, what does he
should
do?
flow in the direction of northwest.
Sir, he made some angle, sir. He made some angle.
The vector diagram gives what to do. Vector diagram gives like this. This is velocity of water. And look, my velocity must be from A to B. So my relative velocity must be like this. So that the net velocity is like this. This is A, this is B. So I should go against the water, making some angle like this. So this is V relative, this is V water. See, this is tip to tail. V relative tip to V water tail. So this will be the net velocity, or the sum of these two velocities. It will be from A to B like this. Do you follow? Hello. You should swim like this. The person should swim like this. With respect to water. But water pushes him down. So for you watching from the ground, the swimmer appears to go like this. For a person inside on a raft inside the water, the swimmer is going this way. So you should swim against the flow, making some angle so that he'll be pushed down like this and his net velocity goes from A to B. Do you understand this? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He should be going like this. If you ever cross a river or a stream, you'll know that. If you want to go straight, you cannot go straight. If you go straight, you'll be pushed downstream. But if you go against like that, you may be going straight. Do you follow my point?
Yes.
Hello. Which means your net velocity will be becoming what, simply V resultant or V of the swimmer with respect to shore will be V relative square minus V water square under root, simply from Pythagoras theorem. More of that I'll talk later. Tell me. Hello. How do you get that? From the cosine rule only you'll get. But I simply wrote it from the figure itself. This square equals this square plus this square. So this is this one. So this is what we mean by motion across the string. After doing components, I'll come back to this in a slightly different way. Hello.
Yes, yes.
But ultimately, what was my main idea, in this lesson? I wanted to give you real physics examples of sum of two vectors. One example was adding forces. Another example was adding momenta. Third example is adding velocities. But what velocities are we adding? And what velocity are we getting out of it? So 3 physical cases we went through. Do you understand this, children?
Yes, sir.
And of course, not one. We've got 101 cases of this crossing the rivers, which will be discussed again in kinematics in details. But remember, the way I do my lessons will be like this. I'll be bringing something from somewhere to a particular lesson here to show an application. So the idea is simple, one idea at a time. Like I will use this velocity addition, force addition, momenta addition somewhere in my future lessons. Do you follow? Enoch.
Yes, sir.
All right. Tomorrow I'll come up with one more interesting thing in the beginning before we continue with the lesson.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a doubt regarding the heavenly body, sir. Sir, so with respect to sun, even the earth is falling.
Yeah, every time falling in its orbit.
Yes, sir. So then how is the sun staying in its place, sir?
Look, sun is going around the center of his galaxy. Our solar system's galaxy center. Around that, our whole solar system is moving, not just sun.
Yes,
Look,
yes.
we have a satellite called moon. So moon
Yes,
and
yes.
earth system together is going around sun.
Yes,
Similarly,
sir.
Saturn and Saturn's moons are going around the sun. The sun, along with its planets, is going around the center of the galaxy.
Okay, so sun is also moving.
Yes, that's whole.
Okay.
That's what I mean by saying in the universe, everything is falling towards everything.
Yes, sir.
And the reason for this is what? Gravitational force.
Yes, sir.
That's an interesting thing, actually, right? All right, for today, I'll close the session. Hope you wrote down this. Did you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So for today, I will stop. Thank you, children.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.